Oh my God, y'all gotta get in here and see this. Megan Thee Stallion's attorney, Alex Spiro, has released a statement regarding this entire situation. Now, if you guys are unaware, NBC News did a story about Megan Thee Stallion getting sued. In the lawsuit, they claimed that her former photographer, Emilio Garcia, was suing her based off of a 2002 situation they had in Ibiza. I'm not too sure who leaked this story to the press or who fed this story to the press, but I cannot wait to see what's gonna happen.
I ain't never been this sad in my life because I ain't never been to jail. I ain't never had no criminal history, criminal record.
Now Megan out here sticking our fingers in people kitty cats without consents. Girl Megan just cannot catch a break. Girl Megan just cannot catch a break. And it looked like she might be the problem this time around. This comes after she was exposed for sticking her fingers into a best friend's kitty while she was drunk and left her severely injured for weeks. All this mess was revealed in a lawsuit against Meg by her ex-cameraman, Emilio Garcia. And I ain't gonna lie to you, things are not looking too good for our girl. To make matters even worse, he just requested for the court to have his suit amended because apparently he has even more allegations to slap Meg with, and he wants all of it to be put on blast in the lawsuit. This entire mess actually started way back in April of last year when Elio filed this lawsuit claiming he was trapped inside a moving vehicle with Megan while she got freaky with her best friend Jayla, as well as creating an unbearable hostile work environment. Alelo claims that the essay happened around June of 2022 when he was traveling on tour with Meg in Spain after them partying at a club all night. Meg and 3 female friends were in an SUV to rest when Meg and her bestie Jayla got to freaking off the Laos states. And I quote, plaintiff could not get out of the car as it was both moving and he was in the middle of nowhere in a foreign country. Plaintiff was embarrassed, mortified, and offended throughout the whole ordeal. It continues the following day. Stallion inquired whether the plaintiff was in the SUV the previous night. Plaintiff confirms that he was in the SUV. Subsequently, Stallion instructed, don't ever discuss what you saw. Apart from Meg allegedly forcing him to put up with her doing this freak off with her friend, she was also allegedly body shaming him when he was working with her and also refused to pay him for his services as a cameraman. ALO started working with Meg back in July of 2018 as her personal cameraman. But right from the jump, she was treating that man like he was nothing. She apparently didn't give him essential health care, refused to pay him for his job, and even when she ended up making him work past his hours, she still isn't paying for it. He said he was forced to work more than 8 hours and deny breaks for rest and meals. Fast forward to June of 2023, he was fired, and he believes it was IM retaliation for his complaints. Plaintiff grapples with mounting anxiety, depression, and physical distress stemming from the toxic work environment, compound ED by the trauma of unpaid work. Now, if y'all thought these allegations was wild and unhinged, wait till y'all hear the rest of it, because Emilio recently amended this lawsuit and he added a few more details to the allegations that he had already made. And baby, he really had our girl Meg out here looking like a pedor. Now, do you remember when I said Elio claimed that Meg and her friend got freaky in front of him without his consent? Well, in this amended suit, he went into detail and said that Meg sticked her finger into her friend Jayla Kitty Cat while having very long acrylics. The acrylics ended up giving Jayla a lot of cuts inside of her. But of course, Jayla didn't realize the damage that was done to her because she was drunk during the whole thing. The suit read at first, Pete and the best friends were dancing to the music and generally continued to party. Suddenly, Pete, who was, upon information and belief, intoxicated, began to put her hands on her best friend's face and brie and butt. Soon, Pete was kissing her best friend. This made the plaintiff feel uncomfortable, She was in an SUV in a foreign country at night with his boss who was acting inappropriately. Unlike the harassment that occurred at the New York strip club, plaintiff was unable to remove himself from the situation and became very distressed. Pete continued to escalate the sexual act in which she and her best friend were engaging. Next, Pete got out of her seat and moved forward towards Jayla, who she was sitting across from. Pete removed Jayla's undergarments, exposing her vagina. Pete then proceeded to take her fingers and insert them into Jayla's, otherwise known as fingering Pete. Stimulated Jayla with her index and middle fingers on her right hand. DK commented. Pete had long a word nails. The next morning, Jayla complained that her was in pain due to the long fingernails which Pete was wearing at the time of her SE. And do you all remember the claim she also made about Meg body shaming him? Well, he went on to allege that whenever Meg was on a diet to lose weight, she'd forbid her team from eating around her. This made them so paranoid, they ended up taking drastic measures like hiding off to eat whenever they knew she was on one of her diets. The suit read, whenever Pete was dieting, which was frequently, she would forbid anyone from eating around her as a result. Plaintiff and other employees who were working sometimes 16 plus hours a day were forced to eat in secret, indeed, even when there was catering. Pete would explicitly forbid people from eating in her presence. If she saw a plaintiff or anybody eating, Pete would launch into a temper tantrum, ridiculing anyone who brought food into her vicinity. Plaintiff, who was open with Pete about his eating disorders and sometimes struggled with weight, felt targeted, ashamed, and humiliated by Pete's ridicule. Sometimes when Pete ate, she would immediately go to the bathroom and induce vomiting. Top revent herself from gaining any weight. Pete held plaintiffs and others to her unreasonable and illegal standard of beauty and targeted those, including plaintiff, who failed to conform. Now, of course, all this is alleged information, but he was still bold enough to amend this lawsuit and add this, so it must be ready to defend in court. Meg hasn't responded to any of the allegations yet, but Emilio is definitely not backing down from this until she does. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and don't forget to click here to watch this other very messy video.